Hello YouTube, welcome to my channel. First of all, I want to say thank you guys. I just recently hit 2,000 subscribers, which is crazy. I definitely don't consider myself a YouTuber or a videographer, so that's pretty awesome, and I want to thank you guys for all sticking around through my mediocre editing and audio. I really appreciate it. And then secondly, today I am going to share with you guys how I create my weekly Dutch door spreads, because a while ago, probably like a month ago, I posted my first Dutch door weekly spread on Instagram as a video, like a flip through, and it went crazy. It got so many comments and likes and people asking questions, and honestly I've just kind of sucked at responding to all of them, and some of them are the same over and over because I've been posting every week. And they're the same questions. So instead of going through and trying to respond to all these comments, I've decided that I would just want to film a video of making my Dutch door spread and kind of walking you guys through how that's done, and why I use it. So I'll show you the basics of how I set it up, how I cut it. Yes, I cut my journal. And then I will kind of show you like how I decorate it and stuff, and then I will explain the reasoning behind why I'm using the Dutch door spread and how it has definitely made the whole journaling process better for me. So with that, we will jump right in.
Okay guys, so the very first thing that you want to do if you're going to make a Dutch door spread is lay out your weekly. So a Dutch door is where you're going to be able to see a mini view of your week, and then you're going to have like daily spreads. So at the top I drew these lines, and that's where I'm going to put my weekly. It's pretty small, it's just for main events. And then this is the next most important part, at least for me. I go through and I write in pencil the days of the week so that I don't end up cutting too many or too few pages. So I'm going to cut Monday through Saturday. You're not going to cut the page that Sunday's on because it's the last page. And then the page to the left of Monday is going to be your page where you keep any trackers, your goals, your weekly to-do list, things like that. So it's just kind of a page to keep all the extras that you would normally have in a weekly spread. So from here you can see that I am just using a pair of scissors. You could also use a mat and place it under your Saturday page and then use an X-Acto knife to cut out this top portion. So this top portion is where that small weekly layout goes. So I'm cutting those pages out, and then my weekly will stretch from that front page where you see the pencil line to the back page, which is where Sunday is at. So now I have the entire week, and Sunday is not cut. You have to be really careful not to cut that, and just be really careful not to cut other pages when you are cutting right along the spine, because it can definitely be a big disaster. So then here what I did is I drew that line on the last page. So on the Sunday page I just continued it over, and then I did some spacing in my journal, which is a Nuna. It's 1.5 inches, and that leaves me enough room for 4 little squares on each page. So the first square is like my little title box so that I can see that title box all week long, and then the remaining 7 squares are for the days of the week. I apologize for my face and my hair in the video. I tend to lean over normally whenever I'm drawing, so when I'm making videos I have to really consciously think about not leaning directly over my page, and you know, sometimes it just doesn't work that way. So now I'm just dividing up my page into those 4 boxes on each side for my weekly. And if you want to know what I keep in my weekly, like I've had people who have asked me like, what's the purpose of having those tiny squares? I use them for events. So like my daughter has T-ball certain days of the week, and I use it to keep track of when my bills are due and things like that. I don't use this space for like my daily task list. Obviously it's really small, so that's kind of the purpose of the bigger daily pages, and I also use those for journaling, and that's why I kind of needed this Dutch door spread, was because I am really focusing on including more journaling and just mindfulness in my journal. So that's why I decided to go with the Dutch door spread. So none of my small tasks like laundry or clean house or write a blog post, those things don't appear in this top section. It's just for really important stuff like events or birthdays or anniversaries, things like that. So the next question I get asked all the time is, does this affect the way I write in my journal? Does it affect the pages? Like, does it make it hard to write? I've only had the Dutch door spread for probably about 5 weeks now, and you can tell a difference. I mean, you can feel the ridges underneath the pages. But so what I've been doing is I change up where this mini weekly view is at. So this week it's at the top, and then the following week I would possibly cut off the bottom, and I would use the bottom of my journal as the weekly spread, and then the top pages for my dailies. So that kind of evens it out, but not completely. And then the week previous to this, I changed it up completely, and I cut off the right hand side of my daily pages, and then I turned my journal horizontal so that the mini weekly was on the left hand side of the page in like a vertical format, but you would have to turn the journal horizontally. You can kind of see it here. And then the pages will also be horizontal. So I did change that up just to kind of even it out. I'm almost done with this journal. I think I only have about 1 more week in it that I'll be able to put pages in, so then I will be switching. But I plan to continue to use this, and so I guess I'll have to figure out a way to make it work, and I'll just keep changing the placement of my mini calendar. So I didn't film much further than just writing out these titles here until I get into my actual Monday page, just so that I can talk some more about how I'm using this and why it's benefited me. But you will get to see the completed layout directly after this. Okay, so about an hour later, that's about how long it took to make that left-hand page, I am finally working on my daily spread for Monday. The first question that I get asked all the time is, do I make all of my pages in advance? No, I don't. If you want to, you're more than welcome to. These spreads do take a long time, especially if you're going to decorate them and make them look really nice. They can take a long time to make. So I usually just make mine the night before. So on Monday night, I'll make my Tuesday spread, and then on Tuesday night, I'll make my Wednesday spread, and so on. And then Saturday and Sunday are usually the days that I use to actually set up my Dutch door and cut my journal and make my left-hand side page. So I don't lay them all out in advance. I usually pick a layout that is fairly simple for my dailies. I do like a little bit of decoration, but nothing too crazy, because I do know that I'm going to have to repeat it throughout the week. So now on to how I use all of this space. So the big circle that you see right now is for my 100-day project, which is 100 days of florals. So I have a space every day where I just draw my florals. It keeps me accountable. It keeps me actually doing it and in the project. So I've just decided to include that in my daily spreads. The 3 little circles are for my weight, the daily weather, and my sleep, which I track with my phone. So you obviously don't have to include those. Those are just something that I like to keep track of to help me see if I'm being productive or if my sleep is affecting things. And then what I'm drawing right now is just my task list, and depending on how big your normal task list is would depend on how big this box needs to be. And then in this daily, I don't have as much room as I have in previous Dutch door spreads, but the space in the bottom right hand corner is for journaling, and I have been working on journaling every single night. Just because it is supposed to be so beneficial. And so far, I can honestly say that has been insanely beneficial for me. I've had to change up the way I do it a couple times, but I am getting there. So what I do when I journal is I use the GLAD technique. So it's something you're grateful for, something you learned, something you accomplished, and something you were delighted about throughout the day. And that makes me stay positive, and so that I'm not just ranting in my journal. And then with the rest of the space that I have, I write down things that happened that day, whether it be with my kids or with my blog or whatever. And then I also try to write down my goals for the next day. I find that if I write down goals every single day, that I'm a lot more likely to accomplish them. So that's just one more thing that I journal about, and it has been so beneficial to me. I find that I'm getting so much more stuff done, and I am just a much more positive person since actually really focusing on the good in my life every day. Again, I want to thank you guys for subscribing and watching my video, and if you have any questions, please drop them in the comments and I will get back to you.